Hello friends, this is Reckless Tempest, former Master Leagues player. Today I'm going to be going over a Singleton Burn aggro deck I used to get a Prime Glory victory in Gauntlet today. Before we get started, please click the subscribe button down below to get notified when I craft new VODs on Runeterra and Magic the Gathering news, finance, and gameplay. So as I said in the intro, I consider this a burn deck, even though it's kind of low on burn spells compared to something you might be more accustomed to from older standard formats, but that's mostly because you can't play as many burn spells in Singleton, just because you can't actually fit them into your deck. I'm going to go over some of the key characteristics of this deck to give you an idea of why I built it and why it was so good. So the first secret ingredient with this deck is the number of 1-drops in it. I went up to 10, Fizz, Teemo, and all these glorious dorks down here. I even went pretty low by playing Shellshocker and Draven's biggest fan. And the reason 10 is such a good number is it gives you about a 92% chance to have a 1-drop on turn 1, as long as you're willing to mulligan 3 cards. And for a deck like this, it's very important to curve out with a 1-drop on 1, 2-drop on 2, 3-drop on 3, 4-drop on 4. If you don't have a good curve like that, you're going to fall behind against a lot of the mid-range decks and control decks that people prefer in Gauntlet Singleton. The next secret ingredient is the fact that all the threats are very good at wiggling damage through. They all either have some type of evasion or some type of ability to throw damage over the face. So with some of our earlier threats, right, with their skills, they get to do damage. Dreadway, Deckhand, and House Spiders are kind of the exceptions to that, as is Hard Gun, but Hard Gun is kind of more of a removal spell. And going down the list, we see almost everything either produces things that do damage, or they have their own evasion. Crowd Favorite having Overwhelm, Sprayfin having Elusive, and so forth, topping off the threats at Riptide Rex and Captain Farron, which I didn't play in my initial run, which I think was a little bit suspect. Also didn't have Jack the Winner, just because I took a break from the game and didn't realize that his spell that he makes every round can shoot the opponent. I thought it shot creatures. A few other exceptions to all the creatures needing some type of evasion is Jinx, kind of, to a bit. Like, she's pretty good at attacking because she has Quick Strike, and Draven's just like a really efficient beater. But yeah, like, obviously Darius can get trample, and we're pretty good at getting the opponent down to 10 or less. Misfortune's kind of nutty. And lastly, it's a burn deck. We have burn spells, but we also have a few pump spells, just because it's really hard to get that burn count up super high from purely spells. Obviously we have Mystic Shot, Get Excited, Noxian Fervor, Decimate. These are just classic good face burn spells. Added Static Shock just because we do have a few keg makers, and the fact that it draws a card kind of helps us keep going through the game. And lastly, we have some really good pump spells in Brother's Bond. This is essentially 4 damage for 2 mana. It's honestly a really good rate, especially when you consider how many units we have. Transfusion is just, nutty. It works really well with Crimson Disciple, +2/+2. And Might just helps us push over more overwhelm damage. If I missed anything, or if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Also, there's a VOD up above, should be a little card there, of me going through the gauntlet, so if you want to watch the games, you can catch them there. I'll see you next time. Bye.